I touched on this game briefly a while back in my video about arcade gun games, but I don't really get to spend a ton of time with any one particular game in those types of episodes, so I wanted to circle back and cover this one a bit closer. Space Gun, developed and released by Taito in 1990. That's right, Taito, the same people that brought you Space Invaders, good old, simple, wholesome Space Invaders, is here to bring you another alien invasion shooter, this time with disgusting aliens, cocooned human hostages, and all sorts of blood-soaked carnage and mayhem. And it's just freaking awesome. Alright, so first of all, let's talk about the arcade cabinet for a second. It would have been hard to miss this monstrosity. It looks like it sprouted forth from an alien egg, and I really like the sharp blue and red color scheme. So the story here is that hideous aliens have overrun a space station at some point in the future. Basically, it's Alien and Aliens. If you've seen Aliens, you get the gist of it. I mean, just look at the artwork. This thing was totally inspired by Aliens and the artwork of H.R. Giger, among other things, and that's just fine by me. Space Gun is a first-person rail shooter that takes you through 7 levels where the goal is pretty simple: destroy as many aliens as you can while also trying to avoid killing hostages. Occasionally you'll see these people partially cocooned in alien eggs or being held by the monsters, and you just have to try to free them as best you can. Although that's not exactly like how it was in Aliens, the eggs look an awful lot like the eggs that the facehuggers pop out of. Speaking of which, yeah, this game has facehuggers too. Also, it kind of is like one of the deleted scenes from the first Alien, where Ripley finds an alien hive on the Nostromo, and the alien was slowly morphing the humans that it captured into alien eggs. Ugh, that's messed up. Anyway, most of the enemies look like some sort of horrific combination of Giger's aliens and something out of the Doom universe. But I love the look of all this. Space Gun uses the Taito Z arcade system, and I really dig the colorful look of the raster graphics here. Aliens are sharp and detailed, and you can even blast off their limbs depending on where you hit them. Seriously, what are these aliens? They're just epically disgusting looking. And how do these weird-looking, slobbering monsters know how to pilot a spaceship anyway? Sometimes their insides are hanging out before you even shoot them, and it's just bonkers. You can also destroy random objects in the background, which can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on the situation. I'll explain a bit more about that later. Regarding your weaponry, your baseline gun is pretty straightforward and has an overheating mechanic to keep you from just holding down the fire button non-stop. You'll want to avoid that anyway, as human hostages pop up anywhere and everywhere and are usually in the most precarious position possible next to an alien threat. You can also find bonus weapons and other power-ups by shooting these little blinking fixtures on the wall, but beware because you have to shoot the fixture and then shoot the item that pops out of it in order to actually get the power-up. There are a few different fun bonus weapons for wreaking havoc on the aliens, including a flame bomb as well as an ice attack that freezes the enemies like Sub-Zero. There's also a variety of levels. You start off in a space station, which looks pretty cool in its own right, but then one minute you're on the surface of a planet, the next minute you're on a space shuttle headed toward a starbase. Everything looks great, and the 3D effect of the levels as well as the enemies appearing behind objects just looks really neat. And you get a nice little cutscene to help bridge the levels together, and Space Gun also features just a fantastic soundtrack. The arcade cabinet also featured a foot pedal. If you press this pedal, your character will change directions and move backwards for a bit. This can help you avoid getting overrun by enemies, although you can't abuse it too much, as each round does have a timer. Of course, you can just pump as many quarters into it as you want, I suppose, to keep continuing, so it probably doesn't matter, but you do have the option, and that's pretty cool. There's also several over-the-top and ridiculous boss battles. These guys will gobble up your quarters, but it doesn't matter, they're still just really fun to destroy. The final boss is a bit tricky though. At the end of the game, you set a self-destruct sequence in the starbase to destroy the alien infestation, kinda like an Alien, and then you have to pilot the escape shuttle to safety. Again, just like in the 4th act of Alien, some of the monsters have stowed away on your shuttle, and here's where you have to be careful about destroying anything in the background. If you just go haphazardly firing away, you'll end up accidentally destroying the cockpit and subsequently your entire ship with no means of escaping. There are multiple endings, and this will result in the bad ending where you're just trapped. You have to defeat the final boss without destroying your escape ship in the process in order to get the true ending. Space Gun also saw a few home releases. It was ported to several computer systems such as the ZX Spectrum and the Commodore 64, and it even got a halfway decent Sega Master System port. It was also included in the Taito Legends collection released on PlayStation 2. It's a short but intense and excellent playthrough, and I definitely recommend finding a way to play this game if at all possible. Well, what did you think? Did you play Space Gun in the arcades? Let me know about your experiences with this one, either in the arcade with a friend or on one of the home ports. What are some other arcade games you'd like to see covered here on the channel down the road? As always, thank you for watching, please don't text and drive, and I'll see you next time on Friday Night Arcade.